So in this video I will tell you a story how I was attacked and who protected me, who helped me, who taught me concept of sacred space and signed with me the first pact of possession. Now I will tell you my story of my beginning in magic. I started magic after my suicide attempt. And before and after that attempt I had really severe attacks of sleep paralysis. If you don't know, in one of my previous videos I talk about how King Paimon saved me from suicide. But in this video we will focus on what was after that. So I had really strong sleep paralysis and I saw a black figure above me. Vampirizing me. I literally saw and observed that black figure attaching to me with tentacles and draining my energy. So I called Lucifer up and signed with him a pact of protection, and what he did was he literally created some kind of fiery made of dark blue fire imprint in my aura, infused his energy in my aura so that entity cannot vampirize me, and it really weakened the attacks. And he taught me the concept of sacred space. Now let me explain what sacred space is. The sacred space is kind of barrier you raise about and around your ritual space so that you can practice a ritual and perform operations safely without possibility of any intruders appearing. And in this video I will vibrate right now and display on the screen a magical hymn for raising of the sacred space with Lucifer, which means raising a barrier around your ritual space so no intruders can appear in ritual. Only spirit you intended to summon. This hymn is really good if you want to summon Lucifer himself. For safety reasons, this hymn calls Lucifer in his sun god aspect. Since his adversarial aspect is really difficult for beginners and unsafe to work with, I chose his sun god aspect for the purpose of this video, because I wanted to make this as safe as possible. So the hymn goes as follows. Lucifer Christus solis, solis eos foros taene, taetano Lucifer etasi, inute Lucifer cetai, Lucifer Christus solis, solis eos foros taene, taetano Lucifer etasi, inute Lucifer cetai, Lucifer Christus solis, solis eos foros taene, taetano Lucifer etasi, inute Lucifer cetai. So the hymn will be displayed on the screen. Now while you recite the hymn, visualize the wall of dark blue flames rising around you. And while you visualize, vibrate the hymn. Once you feel the wall is there around you, once you can physically feel the energy of the wall, then stop reciting and proceed doing whatever other aspects of the ritual you wanted to do. If you wanted to do meditation, if you wanted to do evocation, if you wanted to do some kind of alchemical transformation, that all is fine. So really, this is simple and really effective way of rising the sacred space. Vibrate this hymn over and over again, and it will indeed show its effect really quickly. You will feel the space, the energy in the space, and once you feel it, proceed with the ritual. I recommend for people who are starting to do it before and after every rite. After you do it for some time, before and after every ritual in the same place, then you can do it only before every ritual and not just after. If you are doing it just in one temple, but if you are changing places, then do it before and after every ritual. This raising of the sacred space to make sure that no imposter will come, because if you are changing the area, you kinda need to adapt and raise the space every time. So this is by far the most powerful hymn I channeled for raising of the sacred space. I seem to become better at it at each try. This Lucifer one is much stronger than the Moloch one I channeled, or the Paimon one I channeled, or the Lilith one I channeled. This seems to be the most effective. Now, in my opinion, the reason is because we are summoning the solar aspect of Lucifer, which was the part of Sol Invictus. And Sun seems to be really good at banishing shit, if that shit is destructive. So I think that's the reason why this works better than other hymns I channeled. And let me continue the story. I was attacked and I signed the Pact of Protection with Lucifer, and he kinda infused my aura with his dark blue flames, which are different than the flames generated by the fairies, completely different in energy. The blue flame of the fairies and dark blue flame of Lucifer are completely two different types of energy, and they shouldn't be mixed at any cost. So, but what he told me is that in order for vampiric attacks to stop, you actually need to stop exhibiting behaviors which are attracting the vampiric entities. So, you know those people who are constantly attacked by vampires and they constantly complain and come to different sorcerers for different reasons, claiming that they are attacked by vampiric entities, and they continue returning, is because through their emotional state and behaviors in outside world they attract those entities. So the only way to truly banish them is to work with your shadow, to work on your behavior, and to work on yourself, really. Hymns can help, exorcisms can help, all of these can help, but you also need to change your behavior and way you live in order to stop attracting that shit over and over again. So, my vampiric attacks stopped when I started behaving responsibly and exercising and doing meditations regularly and doing rituals regularly and participating and helping my family members. That's when my vampiric attacks stop. And whenever I stop behaving properly, whenever I allow to be in disturbed emotional state, whenever I allow to be disorganized, whenever I allow to not exercise, to neglect my duties, my rituals, my meditations, my responsibilities, then those spirits reappear. Those vampiric entities reappear, and then they start draining me, they start attacking me. And I had until recently a savior complex, thinking that I am somehow obligated to help everybody and save everybody and shit. And it's also too negative. It's bad thing. Man first needs to help himself and to empower himself, and then by his mere presence he will help others. If you intentionally try to help others constantly and you think only about helping others, then it's probably some kind of escaping mechanism of you trying to neglect your problems by pretending to be altruistic, because majority of altruistic people are actually selfish in nature. So there is one last thing I need to talk about this video, and that's offerings. I usually offer to Lucifer in his solar form honey, mere incense and my own, not mere, but sandalwood incense, and my own blood, and sometimes myrrh. And in this video I will specifically talk about why blood magic is so effective. Now, this question, why blood magic is so effective, I actually received the answer to this question not from Lucifer, but from Morana, the Slavic goddess of death, which is the Slavic goddess which kills, which ends life. So the Slavic version of Grim Reaper, technically. She told me that she works with blood magic heavily and with blood heavily because bloodletting is miniature death. It is miniature version of death. So blood is your vital energy, your vital power. Now, what happens when you die? You kind of stop functioning and you stop working as a physical organism, and all of your energy goes to the other side. And all of your energy goes to the realm of the spirit. The small amount of your spiritual energy remains attached to the body as a shade of your soul, which can be tapped into through the rites of necromancy, but majority of your energy remains in other side. You go entirely to the other side. And now, why I explained what happens when you die? Because the same thing happens when you do bloodletting. You bleed, and then the same your energy you release through blood, your vital force, literally goes to the other side, to the spirit realms, directly, in its undiluted state. So whenever you offer drink or tobacco or food or whatever, spirits needs to take the energy and then refine it through his own mechanisms and then consume it. But if you offer blood, you are offering direct force, which is directly coming just from you to the other side. And if you didn't mention already and didn't notice already, bloodletting is literally the miniature version of death. If you do bloodletting too much to certain deities or divinities, they can kill you. Because they actually can take big enough amount of your essence to desire you dead, so they at the end do that. But Lucifer in his solar aspect will never do such a thing. Lucifer in his solar aspect is kind of weird, in a sense that he has some ethical norms he will never break. So he is in that form of himself. When he is associated with Sol Invictus, he is the god of justice too. But Sol Invictus and Lucifer are not necessarily the same being. Lucifer in his solar form is the part of Sol Invictus, but Sol Invictus in his totality is not Lucifer. Lucifer in his solar form is just one piece of that. And let's continue talking about blood magic and Lucifer. In my experience, when you offer blood to Lucifer, it's better to do it during the night than during the day. And when you offer blood to Lucifer, you will have much better results if you give blood to his infernal aspect than if you give blood to his solar aspect. But regarding bloodletting, magicians should not bleed for no reason. Because when the humans bleed, they release energy, and that energy goes directly to the spirit realm. And whoever of spirit is nearby will take that energy, will take that blood. So that usually results in a bunch of vampiric entities feeding on people and their energy when they bleed. And that's the reason why hospitals or places where a lot of people die are full of vampiric entities who gather around those dying people and literally drink their blood, drink their life force. So if you ever find yourself on the deathbed, or if you ever find yourself bleeding, even accidentally, immediately dedicate that blood to some divinity in order to prevent vampiric entities from feeding on you. So, the reason why blood magic is so powerful, especially if you offer your blood, is that you allow the spirits to connect to your intent and you in a much direct way when you give them blood than if you don't. But there is a drawback to this, and once you offer blood to the spirits, it creates long-term connection, which is difficult to break. So a lot of people fuck themselves up by giving their blood to essentially vampiric entities. And yeah, I talked a lot in this video, and my opinion is that this is enough for today. Thank you guys, and let the light of Lucifer, the light bearer, shines upon you.